question? I'm looking for that person. No one have any question? You first learn all the mantra. So ask your question. Yes, there is a mic. Otherwise you have to scream.
Hello? Okay.
Can you please stop all the people from there? Even
So the question I want to ask is, um, we all find passions in our lives, and sometimes those passions even get us closer to the divine. At least I feel so with some of them. But once you get better at them, sometimes the ego can destroy a bit of the joy. And I wanted to ask you, how can we deliver every accomplish we make to you, and how do we gift everything to you?
you see, chapter 3, verse 35 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave a beautiful verse, you know. He said, it's better one does one duty, even if there is fault into it, but they do it by doing somebody else's duty. It's rather you died while performing your duty than died doing somebody else's duty. It's so beautifully, this verse, because you see, very often we pretend, you know. We pretend to be which we are not. We like it, you know, because when we have the image of how other people look at us, you know, it brings something good inside of us. You know, the ego is very happy about it, you know. So here Bhagavan Krishna make it clear, you know, in spite of different kind of experience that one goes through, you know, different ways that one goes through, very different happening in one life, we are all different. This is the beauty of, in spite of being born all the same way, but yet we have the body is different, our mind is different, no? So our experience also will be different, it will not be the same. So here Bhagavan is remind that we have to do everything what we feel good into. If we try to copy somebody else, it will not last for long. Soon or later, we'll become miserable. So here again he said that do your duty, do whatever have been prescribed to you as the basic of your nature itself, you know. So your basic of nature, that will call you to your dharma, what you have to do. And it's better to do it like that than doing something else. So here what he's reminding also that what is the dharma of a devotee itself, you know. A dharma, firstly, as a human being, is to realize that relationship that we have with God. This is the ultimate dharma. That is our own personal swadharma, we called it, no? It is our basic nature itself of the Atma to have a relationship with Paramatma. That we can't escape. We may escape through it, but we still fall back into that cycle of birth. We can't be free. Because we don't understand that our relationship is not towards Maya. Our relationship is towards the ultimate, the Supreme Lord Himself, you know. That is our aim, actually, as Atma. And in spite of that, we in the outside world we play different role. You know, very often people play very holy roles. You know, people on the spiritual path, especially, you know, they like to pretend to be too holy. holiness doesn't depend on the outside. It's all depend on your relationship with God inside of you. It's not seen through the outside, but it is how you feel inside. Yeah, but one is saying that this is the most important thing. You know, you have seen often people, they go on the spiritual path and they say, no, now I will have to leave the world completely. I will have to leave the job I was working. I have to find a holy job. What is a holy job? Means I shall give advice to other people. Well, most of the people are like that, you know. They think that once you go on the spiritual path, you have to become the savior of everybody else. First, learn to save yourself. If you can't even save yourself, what are you saving somebody else? And this is completely wrong. And one is reminded that one, in whatever prescribed, whatever duty is allocated to your basic nature, that's what you have to do. And when you do it with full-hearted, you will enjoy it. Doesn't mean that problem will not arise. Problem will arise. But how you counter the problem, that will be completely different. Whereas, when the ego is running and doing somebody else's duty, the problem when it arises, what will happen? Your ego will feel hurt. You will feel devastated. You will never be able to move forward. That's what Krishna is reminding. But you see, now you are young, you have a different mindset. No? So you see, you are born into this world. No? So you are born with a certain goal. No? And in life, very often what do? You put this goal. You set this goal when you have that mind to reason about certain things. Okay, now I will study, I will go to university, I will learn, I will have my girlfriend, boyfriend, I will get married, I will have children, you have a certain goal that you have set, no? And you have set it in a time level. You know, inside of you, whether you are aware of it or you're not aware of it, you have set into that subconscious mind a certain timeline. And you base everything upon that timeline. That doesn't mean that it will happen. No? Very often, it doesn't happen. Why it doesn't happen? Because it is not your dharma for that to happen in that way. You are based your experience, you are based what is happening upon somebody else's idea of how your life must be. How your happiness must be. Very often, our parents have the idea. Of course, they are parents. You have the ideas of how the children have to reach a certain level, to make them happy. But do we let them free to adventure into that journey of life itself? No, we don't. Because we project our own ideas upon them. So what we are doing, what the parents are doing, they're projecting these ideas that the children must be how they want to be. Are they doing their dharma? No, they are not doing their dharma. Would the children ever be happy? No, they will not be happy. Sooner or later, they will rebel. They will find their way. They will go, they will grow. Then you will see, but time, when it comes, when you're growing, everything also change. The way you view when you were small, you don't start to view it the same way. How you view it now, you will not view it in 10 years. So things keep changing accordingly. So whether you go with the change or you're stuck into that old timeline. When you're stuck in the old timeline, there is no progression. There is no advancement. There is no contentment. There's no happiness. There's no joy. All the happiness, joy, and everything else is based upon ideas of somebody else. And Bhagavan Krishna said, you rather died doing your own duty than doing somebody else's duty. It's much better. Why does he say that? He's uplifting you that you have a deeper dharma in life. Each person is individual. And tomorrow you'll be parents, you know, the parents should support that individuality and that growth, that experience of life that their children will experience and will move forward. It will be different. But what we like to do the same thing. It don't happen like that. So that's why, you see, spiritual life is a constant reminder of your inner potential, your strength, and especially about you being a human being, firstly, being an individual which is full of experience, full of difference, full of beauty. And that expansion must happen. And whether somebody accepts that to happen or not, you are growing. So that's what you have to do. You know? Then you will experience the divine in anything. So you don't need, you see, Chokamela was a chandala, which means he was somebody which were into the world doing the most terrible job. Chandala, you know, they lift corpse of dead animal, corpse of people. You know, he was doing that. That was his job. But how he was doing it, he was loving what he was doing. It's a job which not everybody would like to. But he loved his dharma, he loved his job. Because he said that whatever I'm doing for Vitthal. So Bhagwan came and gave him darshan there itself. To the extent, there was once a dog which was dead, a corpse, you know, the dead dog, and he was visiting Pandharpur, having darshan of Vitthala. So the Brahmin was talking, when would this man come? Since he started going to Pandharpur, he's not doing his job properly. So what happened? Vitthal came and do the job for him. He carried the dead dog and clean it. So you imagine Bhagwan himself, those who do the dharma properly, he himself come. You don't need to go to him. He will come. So that is the dharma that one will have to do, you know. So get to know where your heart is pulling you, and where whatever you are doing, you will find that joy. And whatever you find that joy in whatever you're doing, Guru and God is there. Anybody else? Come on.
It works? Okay. Chikudev, my question is, sometimes when I'm thinking about my spiritual life and things like this, I feel like a voice in my mind that says, why you believe it? It's all a lie. It cannot be real. And I know I believe it's real. I've seen you, Guruji, doing things that are over all us. One time almost. And so why I have that voice that says to me, it's all a lie, it's not real?
Well, we live in a world of lies. You know, we believe the lies everywhere else. No? Left, right. When you look at the world outside, do you think they tell you the truth? No. Those who tell the truth, they are being punished. Those who tell you have to grow and be yourself, what the world will tell? Say, no, don't. This is the same mindset, you see. So, we have been accustomed in a way of thinking. Our way of thinking, what is the most productive? Positive or negative? Come on, tell me. Eh? How many of you say positive is productive? Eh? In the world I'm talking about. Please use a little bit of your brain right now. Eh? Positive is not productive. Negativity is productivity. Negativity is placed on a throne and being praised all around. Is like that. And that mindset has been taught to you since you are small. But you can't, you are not allowed to. In spite of knowing the truth, you are so accustomed to that worldly way of thinking, but that mind, like Sadhya was saying, will rebel. No? That mind will say, no, 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 no. In spite of experiencing it, how quickly you can have dementia and forget about it. I have seen people like that. They can spend years and years in the spiritual field. I have experienced it. We have experienced it many times. And quickly, for no reason, loss of memory, like Krishna said, dementia happen. Spiritual dementia, they forget everything. All the experience that they have had become irrelevant of their life. What kind of fool is that? But this is why, by attaching our mind to that kind of mindset, we forget very quickly. There was once a king. He went to the forest and was hunting. So it got getting late, dark. So realizing that it's getting late, he tried to go out of the forest. So what happened? He started running outside, But then he started to listen. He started hearing wild animal all around. So he started to get worried. What he did? Stop and look around. So when he looked around, he noticed a light from a distance. So he started running toward that light. Said, okay, it's a hope, no? So he started running toward that light. As he was running toward that light, opened the door of the hut. Light was burning. And it was, again, the hut of a chandala, which is the hut of a untouchable person who do all the job that I told you earlier. So inside, there were bones piled in a corner, meat hanging there, and urine, feces, and this was the most dirtiest place. When the chandala saw the king, he was worried. Said, my king, you can't be here. It's not a place for you. What did he do? The king said, no, 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 I can't go back. I am here now. I want to stay. Just for one night, let me stay. Place was made. The king stayed one night. But happy next morning, the chandala early morning wake the king. Hey, wake up, king. You have to go to your palace. You have a certain duty to do. The king said, no, leave me. I want to stay one more night here. Stun smell and everything, I want to stay one more night. Okay. He lets him stay one more night. Next day, again in the same scenario. After a week, the chandala said to the thing, you have to go. So the king became very angry. Took out his sword, was ready to kill the chandala. You understand the story? The forest is Maya. The wild animal are all the beauties of the world, all the temptation of the world itself. In spite of knowing the truth, the light, the hut of the chandala, is the body itself. The king is the Atma. So we have so much accustomed in staying into that delusion of this body, which is made up of bones, 260 bones inside, flesh, feces, urines, and everything else. We think that the body is everything. No? That's why we entertain the delusion of the mind. But sooner or later, imagine, you don't brush your teeth for 2 days. What will happen? Eh? Bad breath. Yes, the person next to you will remind you, you're stinking. If you don't put perfume, you don't wash yourself, what will happen after 4 days? Your true nature become alive. Everybody will run away from you. You will stink. But yet, due to that, we are so attached to this. We think that this is the ultimate reality. In spite of knowing the truth, we still focus on the outside reality. Because we have been accustomed, like the king get accustomed to the surrounding and get attached to it. Like that also, we get attached to our ideas, our ideas which very often is not from us, you see. Most of our ideas, 90% of one ideas is from others. What we see, what we hear, it's ideas of others. It's not our own. And the 10% that stay, we can't even be creative about that. 5% you're sleeping, other 5% you're busy entertaining yourself into delusion. So you see, that's why you get accustomed to it, you see. Then you have a choice, whether you listen to the mind or you don't listen to the mind. The chandala was there, reminding the king, you are the king. No? There's always a reminder in life. But you have to be wise to listen. Nobody can force you in anything. But reminder, nature itself will remind you. But you have to be aware of that. So, good. Jai Gurudev.